He's sought, activism in a different level. He's actually in this very interesting orange color tonight. When you look
this is the party scarf.
Okay.
Yes.
Whereas we are not advocating for your party per se.
I personally am.
You are personally, but not as TV47. When you look at how young people have morphed in this country, are we in a situation, do we still seem confused, or are we heading in a direction that we know where we are going?
Well, at no stage would you say that a country doesn't know where it's going. It's that people are serving diverse and divergent interests.
Yes.
So, for instance, during the Gen Z demonstration, people had different views on what must be done to achieve their objectives. And after the issues were raised, very clear fundamental issues were raised, then President Ruto decided that he must respond to the issues. Mm-hmm. And he responded to a good number of the issues. One was rejection of the finance bill. Another one was firing the administration. In fact, what he did, he behaved what Rahm Emanuel, a highly regarded politician in the US, would say, that you never let a crisis go to waste. You take advantage of the crisis. So there were fundamental reforms in Kenya, actually unprecedented all over the world, that the youth can organize themselves. They bring pertinent issues to the table, and the president is forced to sit back, reflect, and take action on those issues. And those issues, in a good part, have been addressed. But now, making progress, we must realize as a nation that the presidency is a symbol of national unity, and it must serve national and public interests. Now, one of the key lessons from Gen Z, the demonstrations, was that public participation can no longer be ceremonial, that it's something that you have to tick. Mm-hmm. Public participation actually means public participation. That the elected leaders, be it at the National Assembly, Senate, or even the County Assembly, they have to represent the interests and aspirations of the people who elected them into office. Mm-hmm. And I wish that the spirit of the Gen Z demonstrations is carried to the 2027 general elections, mm-hmm, so that we get a very clear scorecard or a methodology of examining the leaders, whether or not they've performed. But unfortunately, or when you go to the real political space in Kenya, as we approach the 2027 general elections, Onyango will remember that he's a Luo man, and Kamau will remember that he's a Kikuyu man, and these people will go back to their tribal cocoons and vote because of their national interests. Now, national interest here is a synonym for tribal interests, and people will fall into those cocoons. Yes. That is the unfortunate bit. And then a few days later, they'll suffer from, in business they say buyer's remorse, but this time around it will be from voter's remorse. And that is the situation which is obtaining in the US today. There are people who voted for Donald Trump. He told them, we are going to work on the tariffs. Mm-hmm. And right now he said he's going to raise tariffs, although I understand that he's had a conversation with Mexico. But automatically when you raise tariffs, then it means the price of commodities goes up. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that is the situation which happens in most parts of the world, that you have one or two powerful leaders who come and shock everybody into dancing to the drum beats. And at that stage, voters become emotional and irrational. And I know Professor Will and I have had this argument for donkey years, but can you explain to any rational human being,
yes,
after you are warned that a number of people who had presented themselves for member of the National Assembly were drug dealers and drug lords, and some people went ahead and voted for them, they went to the National Assembly, and these are the leaders you expect to come up with stellar legislation. These are the leaders you expect to understand complex challenges facing the world and how we can address them right here in Kenya. Mm-hmm. So for some reason, the typical voter all over the world, not just in Kenya,
yes,
they no longer vote with their selfish interest in mind. They vote with the politicians' selfish interest in mind.